Okay, everybody, here we go. It's Friday. I'm sorry I have to sub today. My kids are stuck home from school and my husband's out of town, so I need to watch my little rascals. I am here, but I'm here. I'm not going to leave you hanging. So get out your notes, make sure you're ready to go, and I want you guys to solve this problem. Okay, I want you to solve it. And what's going to happen is we're going to go, Mr. Jensen's going to pause this and then we'll come back to it. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video while everybody gets a chance to work. Okay, we're back. So, how did we solve this? What did we have to do? We had to make sure that the radical was completely by itself. So, is the radical all by itself? It is. I'm not multiplying the radical by anything, and I'm not adding or subtracting anything there. So what I can do is I can go ahead and square each side of this equation. So if I square this side and I square this side, I get 3x plus 10 is equal to, well, negative 7 squared is 49. Okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and solve this one-step equation. If I subtract 10 from each side, I get 3x is equal to 39. And if I divide each side by 3, I get x is 13. But what do we have to do with every single one of these equations? We have to substitute back in and check. So here's the checking step. Does 3 times 13, I just solved for it, plus 10, does that equal a negative 7? So does the square root, whoopsie, there we go. Does the square root of 49 equal negative 7? Well, the square root of 49 is a positive 7. It doesn't equal a negative 7. So our answer here, you should have said no solution. Okay? Or if you were crafty, you could have said, well, hey, I can't take the square root of a negative number. It's no solution. All right, let's move on. Today, you guys are going to practice what we did over the last 2 days. So I'm going to do a couple problems with you just to remind, just to help you remember. And then you guys are going to work in groups and turn something in for me. So first things first, when I solve, I have to get the thing with the exponent. I have to get that all by itself, and there's a problem here. It's not by itself. I better add 1 to each side. So I get 25 is equal to 27x to the 3/4 power. Well, how do I go ahead and take care of this? How do I solve this now? Remember, we took the reciprocal of 3/4. And that reciprocal is 4/3, and I raise this side to the 4/3, and I raise this side to the 4/3 power. This should be 27. So in my calculator, I'm going to type in what is 27 to the 4 divided by 3 power. So I really have the cube root of 27. The cube root of 27 is 3. 3 to the 4th is what? 3 to the 4th is 81. Okay, so my blue side of the equation becomes 81. 81 equals, those disappear, and I get 27x. I divide each side by 27, and I believe x is 3. 81 divided by 27 times 3, 1, 2, is 81. So there we go. How can I check to see if this is an extraneous solution? I would plug x equals 3 back in. Does 26 equal negative 1 plus 27 times 3 to the 4/3 power? I'm sorry, to the 3/4 power. So does 26 equal 1 plus, I need the 4th root of 81, and I need to cube that. So does 26 equal 1 plus, oh, that's a minus 1, plus 3 cubed? It does. 26 equals negative 1 plus 27. So this is a good answer. Okay? All right, let's try another one. I think we learned this on Wednesday. My first thing is I need to isolate the radical. So how do I isolate the radical? I have to isolate the radical. I'm going to subtract 4 from each side. So I get radical 2x plus 1 is equal to negative 1. Okay? I know what you guys are thinking right now. I hope you're thinking this is no solution. And it's true. This is a no solution case. I cannot take the square root of a number and get a negative number. So right away, we can say no solution here. Okay, why? The square root is not negative. Okay, so there's no solution. That one worked out really good. Next. This is something a little different. I'd like you guys to think about this. Go ahead and write this down. I've got 2 radicals. We can solve this, and we can solve this by squaring each side. So can we solve this? Absolutely. We can square each side. So let's do that. Squared. Well, when I square a square root, 5x plus 1 just drops out. When I square a square root, 2x minus 1 just drops out. And now this becomes an equation that I know how to solve. This is an equation back from Algebra 1. So I'm going to get my x's by themselves. And I get 2 is equal to negative 3x. Divide by negative 3. And I get x is 2/3. Well, is 2/3 a solution here? Not really sure. Let's check this out. Let's check our work. Does the square root of 5 times a negative 2/3 plus 1, does that equal the square root of 2 times a negative 2/3 plus 1? So this would be negative 10/3 plus 1, and this is going to be negative 4/3 plus 1. Those don't work out. This is a no solution because I don't get that equality. So this is a no solution case. But we can solve these by squaring each side. All right, next one. Let's try this. So go ahead and write this down. Remember when we solved equations with a rational exponent, we used the reciprocal. We used the reciprocal of the exponent. And we raised each side of the equation to that flipped power, to the reciprocal power. So if my power is to the 1/3, the reciprocal is 3/1. So let's go ahead, raise this to the 3/1, raise this to the 3/1, and I get 4x minus 7 to the 3/3, 5x plus 8 to the 3/3. Well, 3/3 is just 1. So this becomes a really nice equation to solve. let's go ahead and subtract 8. So I get 4x minus 15 is equal to 5x. And let me subtract 4x. So I get negative 15 is equal to x. All right, let's go see if this works out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to check my work here. And I'm going to say, does 4 times a negative 15 minus 7, does 4 times a negative 15 minus 7 to the 1/3, does that equal 5 times a negative 15 plus 8? So on this side, 4 times negative 15, isn't that a negative 60? Negative 60 minus 7 is a negative 67. I really want this number on this side to be negative 67. So 5 times negative 15 is a negative 75 plus 8, and negative 75 plus 8 equals a negative 67. So I can say that x equals negative 15 is the answer. So that works out. All right, this is what's going to happen. You guys are going to get in your groups, and we're going to have the group assignments up in a minute. And each person has to have a calculator and a piece of paper. Okay? So you need a calculator and a piece of paper. You guys are going to get some task cards, and you are going to work through your task card as a group, as a pair. One of you is going to come up and check your answer, and if your answer is correct, you're going to get a prize. Okay, and then you're going to move on to the next card. If your answer is incorrect, you have to go back, and you and your partner are going to figure it out. Mr. Jensen's not going to tell you what you did wrong. He's just going to say your answer's wrong, and you guys have got to figure that out. I need you to get all 12 done, and this is turned in by the end of class. Okay? So each of you have to turn this in. So each person turns in a card. Or I'm sorry, each person turns in a paper. Here are your groups. So this is periods 5, 6. So go ahead and get in your groups. You can pause this. This is period 9, 10. Period 9, 10. Alyssa, let's add Elijah. Okay, those are my 2 new people. And I think Rita is new also. So we'll put Rita there. So this is period 9, 10. So go ahead and pause this, get in your groups. When you're ready, you can come back and look at another screen if you want. I leave this one, okay? So at the end of class, turn this in. If you have any questions, you guys have all the answers to this stuff in your notes. We've done it. We've worked on it together the last 2 days. So please turn this in. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you on Tuesday when I come back. Thank you.